The time is 2:09 p.m. Good afternoon. The news headline: Miyetti Allah scribe Móçks Kanu Igboho says their plight spiritual. The National Secretary Miyetti Allah Kauta or sszãïlêd has said that the group used its spiritual powers to send Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho to jail. The IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu and Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho, who were vocal against the activities of Fulani herdsmen, are currently in detention in Nigeria and in Benin Republic, respectively. Speaking on what Miyetti Allah is doing to ensure their members do not run foul of the anti-open grazing law, which is spreading in the southern part of the country, Al-Azan said that the group is deploying various strategies and that every means of the southern governors to disrupt the activities of the pastoralists, that is the Fulani herdsmen, are being observed by the committee, that is by the Miyetti Allah Kautaho, and they will do everything within their powers and their jurisdiction to make sure that the will of the southern governors do not prevail. He said, why would they comply? That they are Fulanis and they have powers all over around, citing that the coordinator of the chairperson of the United Nations is actually a Fulani herdsman, and saying that the practice of some herders allowing their cattle to stray into the main part of cities like Abuja. Saleh explained that Abuja was a grazing reserve before it assumed the status of national capital. Abuja was originally a grazing reserve, but it has been a city today, he declared. Saleh emphasized that the love of the Fulani for cows and described tending to the animals as a heritage bestowed on the ethnic group by God. He said, "Do you know that we love cows so much? When we see cow, we feel happy because it is a symbol of our culture, economic empowerment, a heritage bestowed on us by God. The name of our group, Miyetti Allah, means we thank God for the gift of natural wealth. Grazing has never been done in secret since the time of Moses. If you are a good reader of the Bible, Manja is where cows graze." Saleh accused Nigerian leaders of playing politics with grazing of cows. He warned that the manner leaders were handling the issue of open grazing, the country might go into extinction unless Nigerian tread softly on matter. He said many governors are using the issue of herders men to drive their politics and steal through the use of security votes, Saleh declared. And he said that people are just trying to play politics, working on the masses and stealing security votes. They are inviting so much trouble for themselves because when the pastoralists are pushed to revolt, their revolution may be the end of this country, because the crisis will come in different shapes. It is the same government that is creating bandits. When you destroy the livelihood of the people, you push the younger population to an alternative. When you have an army of people without land and destroy what they have, you are enabling recruitments for jihadists. And when the problem comes, you won't be able to talk about herders again. He described what he called the ugly development in the Northwest as a consequence of the destruction of the grazing practice. What you have in Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina is a consequence of the emasculation of the herders trying to destroy the economy of a people without creating an alternative means of living for them. And it is not in a progressive way forward, he said. He claimed that most of the cattle eating grasses in open fields in the southern part of the country are owned by southerners. Saleh said most of the cows you see in Lagos belong to Yoruba merchants, Kanuri merchants. Very few Fulani own cattle. And at times I laugh when Lagos, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom say they are doing anti-open grazing because they are not serious. Some of the cows in Lagos are meant for the abattoir, but having undergone stress before getting to Lagos, they are allowed a few days to move around. Imagine somebody in a riverine area like Bayelsa and Akwa Ibom saying he is doing anti-open grazing. They are just making a mockery of themselves. We understand on those states, but why would Ogun, where everywhere is a market, want to do anti-open grazing? Saleh said what the southern governors should have done was to create cattle ranches and lease them out to herders. Let them create restricted areas and call them anything, ranches, restricted or anything, and put them, the herders, there. And you can designate places, just a few hectares, because you don't have land. Develop them and restrict them there. Take their census and let it be documented, he added, but that they will be setting deadline and operating by the deadline and saying that the Fulani herdsmen should not openly graze it is satanic and it will not work because we are ready for them at this particular time. And these are the words of the Miyetti Allah chairperson, or the Secretary General, rather, to the Miyetti Allah Kauta Hall, saying that the Southern Governors agreement, some of the Southern Governors have actually started implementing this bill, and they are doing it already. He said all these things that they are doing, that it is satanic and it will not prevail over them because they are not actually doing what they ought to do. All this is an attempt of stealing, the masses' votes and turning it into millions. He said the anti-open grazing law being enforced in the region, and especially in Benue, all these things are just satanic. He said, asked if he would ask the elders to comply with the law. They asked him that would he advise or would he tell or instruct the Fulani herdsmen to comply with the anti-open grazing law as agreed by the Southern Governors. And he said that how would they comply? That are they going to pack their animals into a shop, or are they, the Southern Governors, going to force them out of their areas? How would they comply if the state cannot create ranches? He said ranching is not like opening a shop. He said he would advise the elders in the affected states to continue to graze their cattle, insofar they are doing so in the bush and not in the centers of cities or town. He asked for his views on the practice of some elders allowing their cattle to stray into the main parts of the cities like Abuja. Saleh explained that Abuja was a grazing reserve, that everybody is just assuming the status to be nation's capital. He said originally Abuja was a grazing reserve, but it has been made a city today. He declared that those standing, and they should even understand that all these heritages, he's referring to the cows as heritages, are actually bestowed by God, because that is one of the source of their joys. That whenever they see cow, they are actually happy, and it is a symbol of their culture and economic empowerment. That it is an heritage bestowed on them by God, and that in fact the name bearing Miyetti Allah means that they thank God for the natural gifts and natural wealth that He has given to them, and that grazing has never been done in secret since the time of Moses. And everybody that is actually conversant with the Bible, that they would know that even as at the time of Jesus, that He was actually born in the manger, and that manger was actually where cows graze. So that the Nigerian leaders are trying to play politics with this grazing of cow is actually pathetic and sardonic. And he says that how many governors are using the issue of herdsmen to drive their politics, that they are only using it to steal the security vote, and that people are playing politics, working on the masses, and they are inviting so much trouble on themselves by doing this, because by the time the Fulani herdsmen will revolt, then the crisis will come in different shapes. And this seems somehow like a threat to the public security by that specific word, that the crisis will come in different shapes. And that when you destroy the livelihoods of people, that you push younger population into banditry, because they would actually have no choice than to be recruited either into the jihadist or any other terrorist group. He said that the ugly development in the northwest as a consequence of the destruction of grazing practice, and therefore he would not allow the Fulani herdsmen to come back to their various states. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.